That's a very powerful idea, that you would create routines with children, that they get that over and over practice on basic number sense strategies. Here's the thing about that. I always draw the analogy of using those routines to my basketball coaching experience. Every child becomes good at something by practicing repeatedly. Every child can increase their number sense by practice of routines. Textbooks have kind of wronged us, quite frankly, in the sense that there's a lesson, couple pages of practice, and then we say to a child, we're moving on. The reality is, to know math, you have to practice those skills. So number sense practice includes the ability to practice subitizing, composing numbers, and decomposing numbers. Routines can be as simple as 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. They are things that a teacher does for over and over repetition, because we all learn by repeating skills, and that's what the routines are intended to be. They're not long durations of time. They're things that a teacher would teach, and then the students would have sufficient time to practice over and over and to watch themselves get better with the skills. That's a critical piece to understanding mathematics. I so love the work of Doug Lemov. He wrote Teach Like a Champion. His second book was Practice Perfect. And what he basically does is give the analogy that math is something you don't learn in 2 pages. You don't learn in 7 pages. You have to have over and over practice in order to gain those skills. So the routines that we set up at the workshop were things to practice basic facts, number properties, place value, just that over and over sense of what a number is through a variety of different skill builders. I don't use 100 different strategies. I just repeat a lot of the same with formats that include games and activities. That's the powerful piece to math routines. The class number line is the number one most important visual in the class. It shouldn't just hang on the wall. One of the things that's on my website at www.creativemathematics.com is I went through all the standards that are used in North America. I did it by grade level. I made a list of questions to ask children. I believe in setting up a routine with the number line that 3 times a week you're going to do a number line chat. That means you're going to ask children simple things for primary. What number comes before? What number comes after? Give me a number that's between. Give me a number that's even, that's less than 20. I mean, they don't have to be complicated questions, but we're working to more advanced kinds of processing. Also, sometimes teachers think they have to run off a worksheet that accompanies the number line. No, this is a chat about what you see in that number line. A class number line is the very first growth pattern a child ever sees. So those colored dots that we put on it represent the patterns of multiples of 2s, multiples of 3s, multiples of 5s and 10s, all the way through creating a picture of factors. The number line is a very powerful tool, but it has to be in the forefront. I can usually tell when I walk in a classroom whether the number line just hangs on the wall or whether it's really used. I just ask a child and they'll tell me what they know. And if I hear a child say, oh, we always begin at point of origin and we're counting spaces. Oh, the red dots mean multiples of 2. I know that number line's being used. If it just hangs on the wall, you might as well hang on a picture of a pumpkin, because then it's not going to be a tool. The tools that I talk about so frequently with teachers are meant to be used over and over. And I've got lots of ideas on the website for ways that you can get more comfortable asking children questions about that class visual. Best advice I can give for teaching primary mathematics is to make your classroom visual mathematically for children, and then to use those visuals on a regular basis. We talked today about the number line. We talked about the groups of, we talked about aerobic place value cards, we talked about the number property checklist. Make the classroom a place where when a child is drifting away and looking in a corner, they see a piece that helps them learn. Yes, it's fun to be in a classroom. There's so much cuteness and things that draw our attention and bright colors. Within that same realm can be intensive mathematics that a child sees every day and works with. Also, I always talk about my 4-letter words that motivate students to learn: game, dice, food, race, and song. Those are simple 4-letter words, but every human being responds to those. Find a way to turn something into a game, even if it's not. Sometimes just calling it a game, children think it's a game. It doesn't mean every day in the classroom's a game, but sprinkle them in because children love the idea of a game. But in the meantime, they're practicing those skills that we talked about as routines.